Good, it's morning then. Good evening, everybody. Just make sure we're connected. I'm multi-streaming at the minute, so I'm on several platforms. I'm just checking to make sure it works. So that's why we're starting a few minutes late. I finished my cuppa. So I think I'm on YouTube and Facebook at the same time. All comments come onto the same screen. I'm using the same camera for both. If there are any issues, then let me know. If you can hear me, let me know. If you can't, then let me know. And then I'll start going through separation anxiety. And it won't take long, I promise, because I've got it all on my screen ready just to more or less read out. So, who's on there? So, let me just see if this works. See if that works. That should work. Yeah, it should work. Let's come up on both. 2 seconds. Oh, right. So, where we go? Who is it? Let's say hello. I can see Amy. Anybody else? The thing about it is it does get saved, because not a lot of people can come at 6 o'clock. A lot of people are working, a lot of people have got kids. Kids are a pain in the neck and they get in the way. One behind me, can't move. And who promises to be quiet all the way through. But what we've got is, yes, it will be saved on YouTube and Facebook Live, so you can go back and look through it. So very briefly, we're going to go through the webinar. If people are on and people want to ask questions, then they can ask questions. if they forget to ask a question, they can ask a question at the end. But the webinar is structured to give you a clearer understanding of what separation anxiety is, what it is, why it happens, and what we can do to help. So we'll start by discussing what anxiety is, how dogs develop it. Then we move on to recognizing signs of anxiety, look at some techniques you can use to reduce anxiety levels, and over time how to create a calm environment for your dog. And then towards the end, if there's any questions, then you let me know. So the steps I will be putting in is understanding separation anxiety, recognizing symptoms of separation anxiety, gradual desensitization techniques, confidence building, creating a calm environment, management techniques for challenging cases, and any Q&As at the end. Hopefully, depending on how many people come in, or how many questions I get, or how long I waffle on, 30 minutes to 45 minutes. So I'll give you a few minutes if you want to grab a brew, and I'll start at 10 past. Finish my brew off. Good. Just rearranging a few screens so that it looks better. I'm chatting off, so I've got the camera up there, but I've got a screen there and a screen over there, so there's multiple screens on in front of me. Right, 10 past. I say I'll get a bro, I've just finished mine off. I've got biscuits left, which is a rare occasion. So, thank you everyone for coming. If you're coming later, thanks again for coming later. My name is Lee Jeffries. I'm a professional animal trainer. I have worked a lot with separation anxiety as well, anxiety and stress related issues. It can be very, very overwhelming for you and your dog, but hopefully by the end of this webinar, I'll help you out a little bit as well as your dog. So, without further ado, we are going to crack on. So we're going to start with understanding separation anxiety. Right? What is it? Does anyone know what it is? Right? If you do know, then pop it in the bottom. Yeah? If you don't, then say you don't. I'm going to let you know anyway. Separation anxiety, it's a behavioural condition where a dog experiences distress when left alone or separated from their primary caregiver. Normally, mum or dad. Yeah? Dogs themselves are naturally socialised animals, and they depend on humans, that's us, for their companionship and security. So when a dog has separation anxiety, it's not just because they're bored and got nothing to do, or they've got a mild discomfort. It's stress that can lead to destructive or self-harming behaviour. So your common causes. There's several, I don't want to say risk factors, but several factors and triggers that might contribute to separation anxiety in dogs. The most common ones, life changes. So there might be examples of moving house, rescue dogs, them open. You've got life changes, dogs in new homes, new family members, loss of family members, loss of companions. Dogs thrive on stability, and any significant changes can disrupt it, especially their sense of security. Everyone's here, we're all here, we're all happy. As soon as something disappears, then someone's not happy. But just dogs that have been rehomed, dogs that have been abandoned, rescued, or neglected, when they move to new homes, can experience some separation anxiety. Certain breeds apparently are more natural to, or more people orientated, and they're more prone to separation anxiety. Herding and sporting breeds, for example, which have been bred to work closely with humans, often struggle when being alone. That's it, apparently. Yeah. Genetics, just like people, genetics play a role. Some dogs are simply more sensitive. Some dogs are more anxious by nature. Separation can be a result of genetics. It's essential to understand how genetics work when you're managing your dog's anxiety as well. If you're going through any of them, let me know. Because that could be a reason. Not a reason, a cause. What do you do when you recognise a symptom? Those are the symptoms, or some of the symptoms. Right? What symptoms? That's understanding what it is. Right? What are symptoms? What does it look like? Do you think, oh, my dog might have separation anxiety? What does it look like? What do you think it is? Well, separation anxiety can come from a variety of symptoms. So how do we know if a dog is suffering from separation anxiety instead of just being a normal mischievous dog? You've got different types of symptoms. Vocalization, excessive barking, whining and howling can be a telltale sign. Your dog might do that normally. You've got to look at different types of vocalization when your dog's left alone. Destruction, destructive behaviour. I've seen some extreme cases of separation anxiety where the dogs just trying to escape, and they've bit the house, and they've chewed the house, they've chewed the frames of the doors and the window frames and everything. Mm. It can, like I said, dogs will chew furniture, they'll dig, they'll scratch at doors, which is normally out of character. Now you might have a dog that is normally destructive. Normally destructive. This is out of the ordinary destruction. Mm. Dogs that are extremely anxious will try and escape. Mm. They will attempt to escape from a room or crate, and they're not bothered about injury. You will see that some dogs with extreme separation anxiety can actually fear their own life. What you've got is they will try and get out through the exit route, normally the doors and windows. So that's where we'll look for the scratch marks and the TV marks around the doors and windows. So you've got to look at the attempts of escape. You can look at them on your cameras and whatnot. Now, physical symptoms. You've got normal physical symptoms of anxiety, which can be excessive panting, pacing, drooling, trembling. Tremble when you're on the wrong road. But these can also be signs or symptoms of other things. Not all signs are immediately obvious. Some dogs show more subtle signs of separation. Now, in humans, it's attachment disorder or attachment bonding. In dogs, it's separation. What you've got is the bond is there, and the bond is brilliant. The bond between dogs and humans is amazing. But what you've got to look at is not all signs of separation anxiety are obvious. Some dogs show more subtle signs like following you everywhere and never settling in a separate space. So if a dog doesn't settle in their own space and you're always there when they settle, what's going to happen when you disappear? The hypervigilant ones, or the inability to relax even when you're close by, constantly won't settle. Signs of other signs of anxiety could be changes in appetite or refusing to eat when you've not gone. Now that's your coping mechanism, isn't it? That's your fight, flight, freeze. That's your brain telling your body what to do when something happens at any given moment in time. Separation anxiety. Probably a lot of symptoms of separation anxiety, but not all the symptoms of separation anxiety could be separation anxiety. Now you've got to remember that not all destructive behaviour or barking is separation anxiety. Sometimes dogs are just bored and they chew. Sometimes they've got nothing to do and they chew and they make your cushions explode. Some dogs express play behaviour through barking and chewing, and that's not separation. So you've got to differentiate between true anxiety and other behaviours. Sometimes you've got to take a step back, have a proper look, look at the patterns, look at the behaviours, and look at your dog's reactions to being left alone. I'll do it because there's no questions. It's it. Any questions so far? You got any questions with it? You sure? Good. Does it all make sense? Not really. No. I can pin it. Let's work out how to pin a comment. Work out how to pin a comment. Oops, that one. I can do it. I can do that. Do that. and then do that. Right. Just like a little mini thing. Oh, I'll have a look. Oh, well. So anyway, what we've got is this basically what I've just explained. I think my issue is when me and my partner go to the shower in another room, for example, shut the door, our puppy will scratch at the door non-stop, which is the exit, and we're just trying to get out. Obviously, there's it's common. It's very very common, and it can be quite normal. But in the next few bits, we've got to um, we look at how to spot it, we look at different signs, we look at how to work on them. It takes a while. So I'll go through them. But yeah, oops, it says there that the big bit there is we'll scratch at the door non-stop, and that's for them to get to you. Now, what I've done in the past, what I did with mine when they were younger, so bear in mind this is just me with my dogs, it might not work with every dog, is when Poppy was a puppy, we had two other dogs, which were 6, 7 years older than her. When Poppy was a puppy, she was in a pen or crate most of the time. Because she needs time to rest, she needs time to grow. Um, she was in a pen or a crate, left on not on her own because the other dogs were on the outside of the pen or a crate, to give her time away from us, to give us time away from her. And that gave them that bit of separation that everyone needs. So although I might not be discussing specifics or going into specifics too much in specific actions you can do, um, for me, I found that crate and cage training was very important. Um, and now, as a puppy, she was in the crate up to 18 hours a day because that's how much rest she needed. Um, Rest is not sleep, rest is just chill out over there. You could be in the same room, you could be in a different room. Um, but you've got to build it over time, which is what we want to do. So, gradual desens- gradual desensitization techniques, right? What you've got is it's building tolerance for a long time, right? So what you've got is the end goal isn't achievable at the minute and won't be for a period of time. That period of time depends on how quickly your dog and you can build tolerance for a long time. Yeah. So one of the most effective ways is to manage second anxiety through gradual desensitization. How long? So would you say that it is separation? It could be one of the symptoms. Um, it could be one of them. You've got to look at, and you know your dog better than me. You've got to look at how many or how long is my dog away from me during the day? What happens when I leave the room? What happens when I go to the shop? What happens if I go to work? Are they okay with other people? What happens before those people leave? That sort of thing. So there's lots and lots of different things it could be, but it is certainly one of the um, first signs. What you've also got is that puppy might just love you. Um, it's building time apart. And this is what this next bit is about. Oh. So building, you start with very short separation. Right? How long is being away from your dog? It's like when we do classes, how long is it staying? Right? Being away from your dog can just be a couple of seconds. You can walk out of the room, you can come back in, praise him for being calm. You walk out of the room, you come back in, praise him for being calm. Gradually increase the time. Right? But you could do that a few times a day, like with normal training. So you start with very short separation. It can just be leave them in their crate, leave them in their cage, walk out the room, walk back in. Only praise when calm. Remember, you're praising. At the time of praising, whatever they do, if they're whinging, whining, barking, and whatnot, if you praise them, then that's the action they're getting rewarded for. So, very slowly, it might be 2 seconds, 5 seconds, 10 seconds. I know you want hours and hours, but you will get to it. It's got to be slowly, calmly praised. Now, dogs are very smart, even the ones you don't think are. Right? Dogs pick up on very subtle cues, like putting your shoes on. What does your dog do when you put your shoes on? What does your dog do when you hear keys? What does your dog do when you put a specific coat on? What does your dog do when you hear specific words like walkies and shops or whatever you say? Can you practice without those cues? Obviously, you need to put shoes on if you're going outside, but if you're practicing, you just go outside for your shoes on for a bit, just for a few seconds. You don't need your keys, you can go outside. Practice leaving without those specific triggers. Or I said trigger, I don't like saying trigger. Practice without those specific actions or cues. Just to pick up on them. I hear keys, mum's going, oh no, right? That can gradually desensitize your dog to those specific cues by performing them randomly even without leaving. So you've got it both ways. Practice leaving the room or leaving the house without any cues, without putting your shoes on, your coat on, picking your bag up, jangling your keys, that sort of thing. And you can do the opposite. You can pick your keys up, you can put your walking shoes on, you can get your bag or whatever, and then sit in the living room and watch television. So it's doing two things the opposite way around. Other tips for desensitization. Always leave and return calmly. Don't make a big deal about it. If you leave with all the excitement in the world, you've left your dog in an excitement and aroused manner. Which is what? You say bye to your dog, what does it mean to them? It's the high pitch, wave your hands. They get excited and you go. You upset them. So leave and return in a calm manner. Dog pick up on timings. Leave it you. Dogs know when they're getting fed. Because the tummy rumbling. Dogs know what's happening at certain times of the day. They've got body clocks like us. We know when it's tea time, when it's breakfast time, when it's bedtime, that sort of thing. But what you've got is practice separation exercises at different times of the day. Obviously, you might go to work at such and such o'clock. You might come back at such and such o'clock. That's predictable behaviour patterns. But can you practice going to work at different times as well? Now, in the morning, you might have your going to work routine, and you do it half an hour before and not go. Then half an hour after, you do go. So it's making it less predictable for your dog who's getting anxious at these triggers. I like to use, I did mention it, and I know a lot of people do it, but in a positive way, is using gates and barriers, cages and crates, to create mini separations. They can be a very good starting point. I can put one person in one room, one person in another, one person upstairs, one person downstairs. Now, when we had, like I say, COVID, um, we had the dogs at home, but before COVID, we had the dogs at home when we went to work. Now, my dogs were a little bit older and they were fine and we could leave them. And it was their routine. Then we had COVID, we were at home all the time, upsetting their routine. So try and create a dog routine where you're not with your dog so that they can have their own peace and quiet. Even if you work at home. During COVID, we were working at home, we went upstairs just to give them that little bit of space from us and us that little bit of space from them. Does that make sense up to now? It's been half an hour already. So up to now, there's loads and loads of different things we can see, we can do, we can look for, we can practice. Now what we've got as we start progressing through these exercises is we've got to encourage independent behaviour. Because what you don't want is your dog feeling like they're a slipper and they're constantly following you around and you're wearing them like shoes. Have you had your tea yet? Yeah. Dogs, they just follow you everywhere. Massive fear of missing out, but they're just attached. We need to encourage independent behaviour. Now, what that means is it's getting your dog to feel better and feel confident on their own, in their own area, in their own space, in their own time. So we can do our own stuff in our own area, in our own space, in our own time. You can't do it through training. You can teach them a settle or a mat or a bed. You can teach them to chill out in a designated area. I used to do it in classes. I do it at homes. I do it on private sessions a lot. Where you can teach a settle or a settle, a mat or a bed. It's a specific place where your dog just goes to chill out. You can start with small exercises where you reward them for staying in that specific spot while you move around. Something like a mini stay on a designated area. But they might have a bed. They might not have crates and they might have crates and cages. They might just have a bed or cushion. You put that cushion where you want them to chill out for a treat on it. They go on it. They've been on it for a second. They reward it. Increase time. 3Ds if you've been to class. So you can increase your duration. So that's your designated area where you want them to chill. That can be a pen with an open door. Yeah? You can reward them when you go in it. So the more they get rewarded, the more they want to go in it. Reward independence. Anytime your dog is calm or occupied doing their own thing, provide positive reinforcement. Now that on its own, if your dog's doing its own thing and then you come and you say hello, they're not doing it on their own then, but you can, as they are playing, give them a burger. Good boy, yeah, good girl, oh yes, that's brilliant, chuck in the tree, do whatever you want to do. But that encourages that, they get rewarded for doing what they were just doing. What gets rewarded gets repeated, so they'll generally do it more often. It's a long process. Some dogs will do it quicker than others. Now, I have done webinars. I've not got any planned on this one before January. It's interactive toys and mental stimulation. The mental enrichment to keep your dog occupied and busy while you do stuff. Interactive toys, puzzle feeders, etc. They can be lifesavers. You know? Toys that release treats in small amounts or a small amount of time um, are brilliant. You keep your dog busy, focused, active, stimulates the brain, keeps them interactive. Interactive with things. You can build your own games. You can buy games. You can do loads. There's Kongs as well with the pastes. Do Kong training in crates. That's lots of fun. Um, some breeds in specific are brilliant at sniffing. Scent-based games. They encourage a dog's mind and create rewarding as well. So you've got lots of interactive toys, the puzzles, the feeders, the sniffing games, the snuffle mats. There's lots there to keep your dog occupied. Now, sometimes you might go, "Well, my dog don't like that. We'll try something else. My dog don't like that. We'll try something else. My dog don't like that." Then you just keep trying something else. And if you think there's no such thing as we're trying everything because we haven't. You can have all the interactive toys, puzzles, feeders, and games in the world, and sometimes 3 or 4 hours in boxes with chicken inside might work. So it's a case of keep trying it. But I always use, or I've used in the past, Amazon boxes, cardboard boxes. Get a cardboard box, put a treat inside, put that box in the box, put a treat in that, put that box in the box, it's a treat in that. It's like a doggy version of pack the parcel. Jelly babies. Yeah. So what they do is they go in and say, "Oh, I can smell it," and they start doing it. It doesn't matter about what happens to the boxes. They're going in a bit anyway. Russia dogs love that because you rip them to pieces. You can have sniffing games. You can play sniffing games. You can have interactive toys after your dinner or when you want to chill out and watch telly for a bit. Mm. You can put them in cages. I use Kongs in cages because you can tie them with garden twine to the back of the cage. Then you've got daily routines. Now you've got your daily routines and your daily triggers that can cause anxiety, like the keys and the boots and the shoes and the specific words. But you can also create positive routines which can actively help the anxieties as well. A structured daily routine helps create predictability, reducing anxiety over time. Obviously, we are creatures of habit. We tend to do the same thing at the same time, and we are very, very boring. But what you've got to do each day is make sure that you do stuff with your dog which can help reduce certain aspects of separation anxiety. Regular exercise. Make sure your dog gets enough exercise before you leave. A tired dog's more likely to settle. It sounds a bit easy, but sometimes when you've got to work at 6 o'clock in the morning, you can't have a fully tired dog. Or if you've got a puppy, then you've got to look at different aspects, like I just talked about. Predictable schedules: feeding, walking, playing. You generally feed them at the same time, you walk at the same time, you play with your dog at the same time. Gives them a sense of routine and a better sense of security as well. Because they know, oh, it's playtime soon, or it's dinner time soon, or it's cuddle time soon. So you can even book in cuddle time with your dog. So you can have feeding time, and then after 30 minutes, you can have play time, and after play time, you can have cuddle time, and after cuddle time, it's bed. It's the same with the kids. Tea time, playtime, bath time, bedtime. Routines for dogs are just as important. It makes the dogs more predictable on what's happening. Does that make sense? Right. Show it over there. Show that over there. Both. It shows on both. Right. So, any more questions up to now? What we've got left? 15 minutes. 38 minutes or 15 minutes left. Good job, there's not a million questions in it. No. You took at me there, an egg. No one. One egg. One egg. So, um, now, if you missed the fireworks webinar a few weeks back, there was a section there about creating a calming environment. This is the same. Um, Now, what is a calming environment for your dog? Basically, it's setting them up to be comfortable. Setting up a comfortable space is a space that makes your dog feel safe and comfortable. Mm. It can be a specific area in a room, not just a bed, but that area. You could have the bed and the toys. But where is this bed and where is this toys? Well, it's away from traffic, not literally the traffic, but where people walk. So you wouldn't put it in the kitchen because people walk around there. It'd be in the corner of the living room or space in the conservatory. Low traffic zones. Some dogs feel more secure in crates. I've talked about crates. Some dogs feel more secure in crates, whilst others will prefer a small gated area, like in a utility room. Look at where your dog feels safe. The living room for me is in the middle of the house because there's a hall at the back that goes round to the kitchen, diner, living room, and then on the back of the house is a conservatory which goes full length. So the living room is in the middle. So we can put dogs in the middle room, in the corner of the middle room, to make them feel safer. But they normally go in the conservatory. At the minute, they're in the living room. So it's just a cosy area. You can use calming aids. You can. What's a calming aid? It's a tool that can create a more relaxing environment. Um, Calming music, white noise. It masks the outside noises, which can create one of the symptoms of anxiety. It's on the list. I've never used them, but you can get the plugins which mimic natural pheromones, which can ease anxiety. One thing you can do, this is very similar to what we do when fireworks and loud noises are going off, is if you want to leave and you're leaving for longer, leave a used pair of trousers or a jumper on your dog's bed. Give you the smell of mum, in effect. So even if you want to buy a scraggy t-shirt, wear it for 3 or 4 days, and just make sure it pongs, and then put it in your dog bed. It's mum's smell, isn't it? Or dad's smell. Um, You've got, I say it's comfortable spaces. Try and find your dog a comfortable space. It's not at the bottom of the stairs because you might have lots of people. It's generally not the kitchen because there's lots of people about. Find a room with a corner what's not near any doors. Set it up so that's like a kid's play den. Toys and beds and cushions somewhere where you can chill out. Look at different things you can do. The music and the white noise is pretty good. A lot of humans use that. We use that in our house as humans. It helps them sleep. Some people will sleep better when listening to thunderstorms or rain or traffic or different things. Dogs are the same. Remember, when you're trying to calm and you're trying to relax, try to avoid them triggers. Try to avoid them triggers that set your dog off, we spoke about earlier. Your coat, your keys, your bag, your shoes. Yeah. What you might find is you can reduce the amount of triggers by getting rid of them, but you might start new ones up. So it's always a case of what can trigger my dog's anxiety, what am I doing to trigger it? Look at how you can keep your dog calm before you leave, calm during, and calm after. Remember, there's no such thing as I've tried everything. Always loads of things to try. Yeah. Now, those who have been to class and those who have been to private sessions know that there's lots of different techniques you can use. I'm a massive fan of positive reinforcement training. That's the only way you can do it. Positive reinforcement training. It's vital to use positive as a reward for calm behaviour. Avoid scolding, anxious behaviours at all times. It makes it worse. Can make it worse. Um, if I've got a little boy who's crying, do I shout, stop it, stop it, stop it? It doesn't work. Does it, Lizzie? No. Okay. Instead, focus on rewarding relaxed, independent behaviour with praise and treats. Treats can be edible, physical, verbal. Right? Um, Reward the calm. What gets rewarded gets repeated. Right? Now, what you've got to look at is it can be very stressful for the handlers, owners, humans, as well as the dogs. Yeah? So when it's calm behaviour, it's got to be from the owners as well. A lot of the dogs get the moods weary. So if we're stressed out, they're stressed out. They feel it down the lead. You've heard all that before. But if we're in a bad mood and we take a dog for a walk, that dog's not going to have a nice walk, is it? So it's always got to try and be nice and calm, nice and relaxed when we're around the dogs as well. And what you've got is some dogs have severe anxiety, and that's where you can contact people who can help, who can create a more customized, more detailed plan to discuss your own dog's individual needs. Now, the webinar is just to give you lots and lots of free tips and ideas of how to spot it, how to manage it, how to create your own plan. Yeah? Because every dog that has got separation is individual. It's not the same as dog number 2 or dog number 3. So that I create a customized plan that helps you and your dog. Now, I do like the use of technology. So you can, like pet cameras and stuff like that, you can monitor your dog's behaviour when you're not at home. But what I will say is, do not put the microphone on. Because, yes, you can see them. Try not to move it about as well if it's a moving one, because the noise can trigger your dog off. Get one that's got a wide angle and you can see your dog. Right? If you can see your dog, that's it. You can see him, you can monitor it. Don't go moving the camera so that it winds your dog up. And don't speak through it, because your voice is not the voice that comes through the other end. It's robot you, and it doesn't sound right, and it can trigger your dog's anxiety. That's just a tip. Now, those tools, they'll allow you to check in, to evaluate how your dog's progressing. Also note any specific patterns of behaviour. If you have longer parts of you're progressing into longer time away, but you've got to be longer away, then you can get dog walkers and dog sitters and that sort of stuff. Now, what you've got is, as we come to the end, almost at the end, is do you have any questions? Any more questions? Right? If you have got questions, you post them under there in the chat box for YouTube and Facebook. If you've got any questions, then you can message me on there. They will come up and I will see them. If you've got any specific issues you want to message me privately, you can do. Separation anxiety takes a while, or can take a while. That's why confidence is needed. Also, a good training. So give me a shout. If you have got questions, you post them below. So whether you're dealing with normal, basic, entry-level anxiety, or we're just starting to get anxiety, I think, what do I need to do? Or we've got severe with a door chewer, with a handle basher, we try and jump out the window every time someone goes, then let me know. We can create plans. If you've thought or watched the video, thought, oh, some of those tips are pretty good, then let me know. Feedback's always brilliant. But go through it. Have a little read. Have a little watch through the different parts. I've tried posting the chapters so that you can fast forward and rewind on YouTube and Facebook so you can see it. But what you've got to look at is we've covered what it is. We've looked at the symptoms to look for. We looked at, I'll just put this on first so people can know. It's good for when I'm on YouTube splitting it up later. So to recap, after 50 minutes, we've gone through what is separation anxiety, what are the symptoms we've got to look for, how to gradually desensitize, different techniques, confidence building exercises, and tips for creating a calm environment. So you can use that as a little checklist when doing it with your own dog. I'll encourage you, use that checklist as a starting point. If you're interested in learning more, give me a shout. So we've got all those little points, write them down. If you think you want to do it, put it on your checklist. Well, that just about covers the 60-minute webinar, well, 51. It's all 10 past 41. Understanding and managing separation anxiety in dogs. Now, it's always quicker, and I always finish quicker when there's less people in and there's less questions. But I always tend to get a lot of questions afterwards. So if you have got any questions now, now's the time to pop it in. Just to let everybody know that this Saturday is workshop day. These are live workshops in Roth. We've got two. We have one at 9 o'clock and one at 11 o'clock. Each workshop is 90 minutes. It's up on the screen. That one comes first. So at 9 o'clock is Total Recall, Mastering Recall Workshop. That's at 9 o'clock. So I'll put that on there. Workshop this Saturday, 9 PM. Recall. There's one at 11. So the 9 o'clock one is recall, and that's mastering recall. And then at 11 o'clock, it's low sleep vocal. They're both 90 minutes long. They're only £29 each. They're only 39. Press it. On there. So the workshops this Saturday, 9 o'clock is mastering recall, and 11 o'clock is low sleep. These are 90 minutes specific exercise workshops, and we go into a lot of detail, theory or practical. They're only £29 a dog, 2 in each, so there's only a couple of spaces left in each. If you're interested in any of them, let me know. Amy, I think you're the only person who joined me live, so thank you very much. Hopefully it was really helpful, but if you want to know anything else, then just let me know. If you've got any specific issues, then let me know. More than happy to message you a few more tips if you need any. But thanks for joining. Next Wednesday's webinar, I didn't look what it was. Unfortunately, it was one every Wednesday. Next Wednesday's webinar will be pre-recorded. And it is 20th. Understanding canine body language. There you go. So if you want to know about canine body language basics, then let me know. So thank you everyone for joining, and I will see you in class on Sundays. I will see you in the workshops on Saturdays. I will see you next week on Wednesday webinars. And the private people, I will see you as and when. Thank you very much. I'll see you all soon. Cheers. Bye bye.